For the next few minutes, I'm going to share about how to create a culture of innovation in your organization. So as healthcare practitioners and providers, we are looking at patients, we are looking at quality, safety, bringing in efficiency, good outcomes. And at the same time, we want to reduce the cost. And for this, information technology is very important. Latest technology and equipments, whatever you use for diagnosis and treatment is very important. But equally important is constantly innovating to make sure the end result is kind of focused on all these aspects. So when we talk about innovations, now I just want to make it a little more clear here. There are radical innovations and incremental innovations. Radical explores new technology, whereas incremental exploits the existing technology. Radically, you focus on challenging the existing products, process, or services, whereas in incremental, you focus on some improvements to the existing ones. Here in radical, you can see a dramatic change, whereas in incremental, you may not see a dramatic change. So radical is kind of highly uncertain sometimes, but incremental, definitely it is very low when you talk about uncertainty. So whenever you combine both these radical and incremental, I'm sure anybody will agree that you will be a leader in the market. So when we're talking about creating a culture of innovation, it's kind of nurturing the unorthodox thinking and also its application. And we have to believe that innovation is not only for top leadership, but can come from anyone in the organization. Again, it's very important. It can come from anyone in the organization. So London Business School professor Kamalini Ramdas, who talks about build a company where everyone is looking for ideas. She says a good company has got employees. It's like she compares it with a sea anemone with thousands of tentacles. They are constantly sensing the environment or the workplace, and working together to channel better prospects through idea development process and then implementing those ideas. And each tentacle knows exactly what to look for, what the problem is and what the solution is. And that is how you build a company where everyone is looking for new ideas. I'll just highlight you some of the problems here, and then we'll little bit talk later how we found solutions for this, improving the quality of medical record, social distancing during pandemic, comfortable wheelchair movement within hospital, surgical training during the pandemic, improving the patient compliance and understanding of chronic issues, and how do you take care of high-risk patients. So I personally believe these are the 5 ways leaders can build a culture of innovation. Always keep doors open for problems and ideas. Empower your staff. Time and support to improvise some of these ideas. Understanding that failing is okay. Tracking and sharing of some of these innovations. When I say keep doors open for problems and ideas, it's like you observe constantly, not only within your system, but also outside. Look for ideas. It may be in a shopping place, or it may be in a when you're flying out in an airport. There are some brilliant ideas which we can exploit in our own system. Actively listen to both the problems and also the solutions which come with that. Encourage the dialogue with your staff and constantly get feedback. This is very important. This feedback is not only from your staff, but also from your customers who are the patients. When I say empowering staff, it's kind of all these dimensions are important. Keeping lines of communication open, trusting them, don't kind of judge them prematurely, listen to them. Some of them may be subtle ideas, but unless you practice, you don't know the difference it can make. Encourage the development of the skill, make your staff valued for working in your organization. Make employees a part of bigger vision, like eradicating needless blindness. So we are all working towards that. Use technology to make people productive, and then all this would inspire the creativity. So we have found that an empowered employee goes an extra mile, follows all the best practices which are supposed to be followed. Is kind of productive, and definitely gives a better patient service. He's also he or she embraces changes which the organization makes, and they also change very quickly, and kind of triggers the can-do attitude in them. They believe that this organization kinds of trusts our idea and experiments those ideas. The time and support is very important. Some of the ideas or system changes, you may have to really study it like a PDSA. You can plan it, do it, study how it works, and then act accordingly. If it works, then you make it, and then you still improvise it. Some ideas, like development of tools and techniques, may need some technical support. It may be a collaboration with other universities or engineering schools or labs outside. So support like that would definitely help our team to improvise some of those ideas. And of course, the most important thing, which we don't normally do, the engineering schools, which they regularly do, is the hackathons, where a team with different mindsets sit together and then they solve problems. So we also have to do something like that. I like this quote: I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work. So failure is a step towards success. I'm sure we will fail in some of these experiments. Some of these ideas may fail, but we can study the failure and act accordingly. Most important, and the last one which we should do, is tracking and sharing. We should see whether the ideas are really working. Is it making a difference in the quality, safety, or outcomes, or whatever you're looking at? And then if it is really working, make it into a system and then share this within the system and outside the system. I think that is also a responsibility. By sharing it, we are also learning from it. So let's see some of the problems and see where the solutions came from. First is improving the quality of medical record. We found constantly, there are a lot of errors in registration, the phone numbers, the contact details. So that's when one of our medical record staff came with this idea. Sir, I went for my Aadhaar registration. They have a dual screen to check the phone number, your bank account number, and things like that. Can we try that? I said, come on, let's try. Check your address here. Now we engaged the patient in the registration process. So they made corrections to the errors which the medical record staff did in the spelling of the name or in the contact number. Social distancing during the pandemic. Many of you did this, covering a chair with a tag or putting a cross. But at the end of the day, housekeeper is saying we have to clean these chairs also, because X-rays are there, bags are there, children are sitting. So I said, what do you want to do? Sir, I have an idea. Let's try it out. She came up with a brilliant idea. One of our housekeepers came up with this idea. Sir, can we remove this chair? Definitely it helped. For almost a year and more than a year, we don't have to keep cleaning these chairs. So we removed this chair safely, kept it, and we also kind of painted it and prepared it for the next stage. But the thing is, ideas can come from anywhere. This is an idea from a housekeeper. Wheelchair movement within hospital. I mean, this was not a big problem for us, but some of the patients or the caregivers who came with disabled patients were not very happy. There's a big crowd in the corridor, people are not giving way. So one of the patients gave a solution. So he wrote a letter and he also sent this bell. He said, like an airport buggy, you need something which makes a small noise. So he sent a bell with the letter saying that you fix this in your wheelchair. I've never seen a wheelchair with a bell, but I said, it's a great idea. Let's try it. And now it's become a part of the Aravind system. Again, I want to highlight another interesting thing which happened during the pandemic. Training was a nightmare during pandemic because residents were quarantined, they were going home, they couldn't come back here. So we thought, how will we continue the training? So we explored a lot of recording systems. And one thing we tried was the GoPro camera, the sport-based camera, which was very, very effective in the surgical recording. And that's the time when we explored that, why don't we do GoPro Live? So there is an option of doing GoPro Live on Facebook and YouTube. So the resident can sit from anywhere. The fellows can learn from anywhere. The senior surgeon was operating, and then you are watching it, or the junior surgeon was operating. The senior surgeon was putting his comments there. Why don't you cut the drape and do? You'll be comfortable. So it really helped us, and now we are making it a routine practice of using this GoPro Live in our practice. This is another idea. It's not our idea, but it's an idea from, again, a London Business School professor who said sharing medical appointments is very important for better understanding of chronic disease like glaucoma and diabetic retinopathy. We thought we should try this and see in our system. So we did a big randomized trial comparing one-on-one and shared medical appointments. So people with glaucoma, similar glaucoma, open angle closure, will share appointments with 5 different people with concern. And then in the study, we found that their understanding and the compliance to treatment was really better than the one-on-one group. And we had a lot of other interesting results, which we are going to publish soon. High-risk patients, which are always a challenge. And in this pandemic, it really became a big challenge. And telemedicine wasn't really working because we have to measure the intraocular pressure, do visual field analysis, examine their fundus. So we thought if a blood test can come home, a food is delivered at home, why don't we send a technician with the portable devices? We have validated portable devices to check vision, like a peak chart, and then eye care tonometry to measure the intraocular pressure, and then a virtual reality perimetry to do visual fields. And it can also be easily sanitized in a UV box. And then finally, a teleconsult was happening after a fundus image was done. So you have all the investigations now at home. So the patient can interact with the doctor, and these high-risk patients can also be comfortably seen, and it can become a good job opportunity for young people. So like this, ideas can come from anywhere. And I'm sure if you bring in that culture, people will pour with ideas, and then you can definitely make this world better. So I would like to finish with this quote: intelligence and capability are not enough. There must be the joy of doing something beautiful. And every one of these ideas, we are going to make this world better by eradicating needless blindness. Thank you.